Okay, welcome back. Very lengthy video about covering the primary structures, the fin, the elevator, the tailplane and the rudder. So I've decided I'd come back and I'm going to do another video now, and now we're going to talk about covering the fuselage. When you read the instructions, there are some good tips about covering the fuselage, but I'm going to go through a process and I'm going to talk you through the process of why I'd like to do mine slightly different to try and give you a really nice finish, and also some of my ideas of why I want to cover mine in a particular way. So let's crack on with the fuselage. Okay, so we've got our fuselage. I've just gone over, make sure we've got little sharp edges. Now, what I'm going to do for this particular covering is I'm going to do it in a particular way. I'm going to cover the top first and then just put a very, very small edge along the sides. I'm then going to cover both sides with a little edge across the bottom, and then the final bit I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the whole of the bottom of the fuselage. The reason for the logic in that, in as much as what I'd like to do is that the bottom of the fuselage is going to get most of the work where it's going to be rubbing up and down on stuff. So if you end up covering the fuselage bottom first and then doing the sides and tape over it, there's more chance of it getting abraded off. So what I'd like to do is, and I think also when you're looking at it, it just looks a nicer finish, that when you'll see it from the top and the side, you won't, it's just a nicer finish. And as I say, I'm just more worried about keeping this nice and flat. I've cut out the sides. All I did was I laid the fuselage down, cut round it, but you can see it's a lot bigger than I need. So, quick clean of my iron, the end of my iron, and all I'm going to do is I'm just holding the sides like so, and at the moment I'm just tacking this. You can see how I'm holding my hands down the sides of the fuselage, and that is just helping to keep some tension on. I'm slowly working down. I say, don't worry about the if you see some little wrinkles there at the moment, don't worry, that's not an issue. You see again how I'm keeping the iron. Now, if you can, try and make sure that when you're applying the iron that you're going along the edges, but you're not trying to go over the top and do this edge, because then you'll find this part of the heat is going to affect the material. So whenever possible, try and just be aware of where your the iron is actually in position to the structure that you're trying to cover. And there you go. That's why I'm actually spinning the fuselage round. There we go. Now, that's the fuselage all done. Okay, so I've just tacked round the sides, and I've not gone all over the surface at the moment. Little top tip here, I filmed particularly with this very lightweight material that we're using. I've got a bit of kitchen roll here. Now, don't use the stuff that's all dimply that the Mexican bloke, Juan or whatever his name, advertises, because the dimples will come out. But this is a little bit of kitchen roll there, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that over there like so, and I'm just going to run that up and down there. Now I'm keeping that moving. Ta-da! Beauty! So I'm going to carry on now doing exactly the same on the sides and then the undersurface. Okay, so I've tacked that down in place, got a little bit of overhang here. So what I'm now going to do is, holding this film down, I'm just going to run along the whole of the fuselage, but being careful not to actually dig it into the fuselage like so, and I'm cutting that off. And I'm going to slowly work my way up the fuselage. Now, if you have a little bit that overhangs and you can't get rid of it, don't panic, because you can always just roll it over. It's not really going to notice. One gentle lady fuselage now finished. Now, I would advise you to, when you finish this, is to just leave it overnight, and what you'll find is, I'll guarantee that what will happen, you might find that as the wood is relaxed, you need to possibly just go over certain areas just to finish it off. Because if you're not careful, it's a bit like painting the Severn Bridge. You'll always find somewhere where you think to yourself, I'll just do that. But my advice is, just when you're really happy with it, leave it. Now, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm well chuffed with that. That's come out really nicely. So, one fuselage done.